What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. The Atlanta Hawks, man, 3% odds, but they won the draft lottery, and it looks awesome for their future because anytime you win the draft lottery, you're going to add a potentially superstar player to your team over the next couple of years, and that's something that this team needed, and they got really lucky because this is a draft that has a 7'1" French big man that can space the floor, protect the rim, create his own shot, and that is like the prototypical perfect player next to Trae Young. And Alex Sarr, you're going to be an Atlanta Hawk. I don't think there's any reality where they trade this pick or don't take it. This is a chance for them to get a great young player on a cheap contract or a cheaper contract, and I just can't see them passing on that. But effectively landing this pick, they were already heading into a really, really important offseason, and now it just added more fuel to the fire because what are they going to do? Are they going to trade Trae? Are they going to trade Dejounte? Are they going to keep them both and add Sarr? What is the plan? What do you think they want to do? And honestly, I think there's realistically three options, and I just listed them. You trade Trae, you trade Dejounte, and you figure it out with Sarr, and you rebuild, or you just retool. And we're going to tell you which one I preferably think is going to be the better choice for them. And before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you like this kind of content. Please like the video. Really, really appreciate it. But let's go over the pros and cons of completely revamping the whole team and starting over or retooling. Revamping the whole team, obviously this inception of the team is a mid-level like play-in team. That's where they kind of cap out at. So you can just completely start over and you can trade Trae, you can trade Dejounte, you can get a bunch of picks, you can get some young players, whatever. And that's all cool. Only problem I have with it, and this is the main con, is they don't own any of their own first round picks until like 2028. So going into a rebuild without your own picks, probably not a great idea. Just my 2 cents, which is why I would prefer that they just retool. You add Alex Sarr to this team. I'm pro Trae Young. I like Dejounte Murray, but the fit just isn't there. I would rather see them draft Sarr and then keep Trae, cook up a trade with Dejounte, and you keep Jalen Johnson, you keep some other guys, and you add some other pieces here and there. But ultimately, I think trading Dejounte just makes the most sense, and I think the team that needs to be calling the phone is the Pelicans, because that team desperately needs a true point guard, and that is exactly what Dejounte is going to be. And why not? Like, trade Brandon Ingram to the Hawks, and then the Hawks get an excellent wing forward that can create his own shot, can create for others, and can play as a number 2, number 3 option. And like the Pelicans get a lead guard that can set up Zion, plays a little bit of defense from time to time, although he was a lot better early on in his career, Dejounte was on defense, than he has been the past couple of years. But he definitely has still shown that he can definitely lock up from time to time. Ultimately, I think both teams win in that trade. Maybe you need to add young players, draft capital, whatever. But the gist of that trade is Dejounte for Brandon Ingram, which would give the Hawks a core of Trae Young, Brandon Ingram, Alex Sarr, first pick in the draft, and Jalen Johnson, who could have won Most Improved Player last year. So you have 4, like, potentially, that's a really high-powered offense with length that could play some defense. Obviously, despite Trae, you just need to get a 2 guard that can guard the point of attack, and your starting 5 is set. That is something that the Hawks should be looking at. That's what I want to see them try to do. Obviously, it takes 2 to tango, so if the Pelicans don't want to trade Brandon Ingram, then that becomes a different conversation. But ultimately, I think retooling just makes way more sense because you don't own your picks. Why would I tank and suck next year if I don't own my own pick? That makes no sense. So you would just be doing a detriment to yourself by trading everyone away and starting over. And obviously, you draft Sarr, who I think is going to be really good. But I say keep Trae, keep Jalen Johnson, draft Sarr, trade Dejounte, get either a good young wing or somebody that kind of fits the mold and go from there. And what I will say lastly for like the closing argument on it, it gives them the chance to retool to get a little bit younger because you're going to add Sarr to this team and you're going to trade Dejounte and you're going to maybe add a young piece or something along those lines or a better fit. So you can get younger, you're going to get a better fit, and you're going to build a better collective roster because the roster had holes in it that were very easy to exploit because they didn't have point of attack defense and they didn't have great rim protection. You're going to add the rim protection and some defense with Sarr, and then obviously a screen threat, a lob threat, floor spacer. Does a lot that's going to help Trae Young get to the rim and get floaters and get free throws and get open threes. Like, that's a perfect match. Now, if you're going to trade Trae, I think the team you have to call is the Magic. And you call them up and you ask for Franz Wagner. That's the first piece that you have to have. And because their Magic are not trading Paolo Banchero. That's their franchise piece for the next 10 years. But if you're going to trade Trae, I think the Magic are the team that needs to call. The Pelicans, the same thing for them. They need to be calling. And you could pair Trae with Zion if you're the Pelicans. But I don't think Trae's going to get traded. I don't think he really wants to leave. I think he wants to win, of course. But they have a chance to go win. Because you're going to add a young player that can grow on a team that could be pretty good if they add the right pieces. And if you add a good solid three from the wing, you're in good shape to be a top 5-6 seed in the East and make some noise. Because we've seen Trae at his peak can get you to the conference finals. We've seen that, like, when the team plays well enough around him, he can get you there. Obviously, they run into Giannis a few years back, which a lot of teams were going to lose that series anyway. Ultimately, I think that you have a star player in Trae. You can draft a star player in Sarr, and you can trade a really good player in Dejounte for a better fit that'll make your team better. But what do I know? What do you want to see? I want to know in the comments. Do you want to trade Trae? Do you want to trade Dejounte? Do you want to keep one, trade the other, trade them both, do whatever, trade for picks? Or you want to keep the same thing and just add Sarr to it? I don't like that idea just because the Trae and Dejounte fit just doesn't mesh as well as we'd all hoped. But yeah, they definitely have flexibility to go either which way, and there's a lot of ways for them to succeed in making a championship level team over the next 2-3 years. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you like this kind of content. Please like the video. The Hawks, they just got to be feeling really good. You land the number 1 pick with 3% odds, the 5th worst odds in the entire draft lottery. The Pistons are down bad. Like, a lot of teams are very sick at seeing the Hawks jump that far up when they already have really good players built through on the team. They got a good shot to build something special if they don't screw this offseason up. So, thanks for watching. I'm done. Peace.